Hi, I'm Chrissy Cordingley, and this is my show, The Flare Up Show, and this special episode is produced in partnership with Clarissa, Burt, and in the Limelight Media. I originally created this show to advocate for myself through chronic illness, but today it's grown into a wellness show that's listened to all over the world. I love to practice well-being for the whole being. So if you're ready to rise, thrive, and elevate your life, stay tuned, enjoy the show, and thanks for listening. All right, welcome to the Flare Up Show. This episode is produced by Clarissa, Burt, and in the Limelight Media. Thank you, Clarissa. And today I have on the amazing Dr. Angela Longo. She's the founder of the Quantum Wave Academy, where she helps people find their true life's purpose. Her training began with her PhD in biochemistry from UC Berkeley, research in brain chemistry at the Linus Pauling Institute. She's trained in traditional Chinese medicine with Master Lam Kong of Oakland, San Francisco, California, and she taught at San Francisco State University and founded an accredited College of Acupuncture. Thank you so much for being on the show, Angela. So great to meet you.
First, I want to thank you for inviting me and acknowledge and honor your greatness for doing this work and bringing these ideas to people. I can't believe how many countries you're reaching. I just salute you and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's our
pleasure. Yeah, I'm excited.
Tell us.
I'm excited.
Actually, we were about to get into this in the green room, and I'm like, I want to get this recorded. So you have a very passionate message. So what is like the core of your message? What would you like us all to start off with knowing?
Well, I would like each person to know that they are made of quantum waves as big as the universe. And those waves bounce back and spin to turn around a couple times and go out again. Mm-hmm. When they spin, that's our body. It gives us a new body, and it doesn't every moment. So we have a brand new body every moment. And yet nobody's talking about this or using it. And 25 years ago, I was given a diagnosis of liver cancer with a month to live. And I said, I need something new, something fast, and something quantum, because that's fast. And what happened was I started inventing tools. And I use them on myself, and I'm happy to say I'm happily alive at 75, Jeez. 25 years later. And I've taken it to Thailand and worked at a health resort where there were people from all over the world, and it was universal. They all loved it. And, it made a believer out of me when this American woman walked into my office. She was pale and gray. She was dying of dengue fever for 2 months. Nobody could help her. And I said, well, let's try this. I don't know if it'll work. And 3 hours later, after replacing some of her patterns in her quantum waves, and I read her purpose, she didn't have dengue fever. She walked out healthy. I called her every year for about 3 years, and it never came back. And that made a true believer out of me. That and about 1,000 other people who got better and felt better. So I really want to share with people that quantum waves are made of information. Your information, what you choose in your life. But I didn't like the word information, so I changed it because we're motions.
Yes.
I changed it to information. Oh, yeah. And that information can be replaced. So I'm going to tell you a little story to help you understand that my teacher told me. He said, if a person brings a quantum code, a cup. Oh, I can't see it, so I'll just talk about it. A cup, and it's filled with poison. And they say, can you help me change the poison in my cup so that I can drink out of it? Of course, that's a symbol of their life.
Yeah.
the quantum coach would say, first thing I can tell you is you cannot throw out what's in the cup. And that's what everybody's trying to do. Let it go, cut it out, throw it out, forget it. You can't do that. I said, well, then what can I do, teacher? And he said, you can pour fresh water into the cup and pour and pour and pour. And if you keep pouring, you'll be able to drink out of your cup very soon. And I thought, well, what's the fresh water that you're pouring in the cup? It's a symbol. And he said, it's a symbol of living your true desires. And I said, how do you know your true desires? And he said, they're what your purpose that you chose tells you to do. So I said, oh, I think I have to invent a technique because your purpose is in your quantum waves. It's the most important information that's in your quantum waves. So I worked and worked and invented a little technique for reading people's purpose. I taught it to people, and then I had them read my purpose. And that's why I believe I'm still here and I use it. I think about it and I share it with you right now. That's what I'm doing. What I'm doing with you is living my purpose.
I love that. And I love that analogy because I know myself, like, I'm not, I like to say I'm street smart, not book smart. I do have an education, but I don't have a PhD. And when I think about physics or the word quantum physics, so it can be a little intimidating, and I'm like, oh, that's maybe above my, but as you described it like that, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Even with my own coaching practice, I practice wholeness. So, and my whole thing, what you said about carving, throwing away, cutting things out, I don't practice. I actually teach people to embrace who they are. So it's really, really interesting that there's this practice that align like, oh, I'm not just shooting in the dark. There's something to this purpose, which I really, really find that fascinating. It's really interesting. So what I don't even know what the next question would be. I'm just so fascinated. What
Well,
tell me more.
let
Yeah.
me, I'll tell you how to do it.
Mhm.
Basically, your quantum information is contained in the universe. Your whole past has been recorded, and you can access it and use self muscle testing. I think have you ever heard of muscle testing?
No.
No? Well, I have a YouTube that teaches you how to do it. You just make a circle, you put your hands in, and you say your name. I'm Angela, and it's strong. And then if I say I'm a banana, it goes right through because when you say something not true, your nerves shut off and your muscles get weak. So you can access all the information, find out what's true. That's how I find your purpose. I ask questions and I have a little technique, which I can describe later. But first, you want to look at your life, your body symptoms, your dreams, your relationships, because they're all connected to you in their quantum waves. And some of that is called, and they called it, the physicists, entanglement. Well,
Yes.
I didn't want to be tangled with everybody. So one of my clients says, gee, I tingle when I do this. And I said, you're entangling. Entanglement.
Tingling.
That's what
Yes.
it is. So I
That
say,
knowing. Yes.
yeah, it's a knowing. And when people show you things about you, you can face them and embrace them. Just like you said, that melts the pattern. However, part two is the story of the cup. You have to put into your core what you truly desire. And that's easy because what you're embracing, it tells you what you really want. If you're worrying a lot, then you know you really want to relax and trust yourself, don't you?
Yes.
So that's what you put in. So it's very simple. And I asked, what kind of information should I replace when I had the liver cancer? And I
Yes.
kept asking, and I got an email from one of my favorite teachers, Gandhi. It was a quote, and he said, keep your belief positive because your belief becomes your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. So I took all those words, and I'm a Sicilian, so I added emotions and
Yeah.
attitudes because I
Yeah.
had a lot of them. And I got the acronym BATH WAVE,
Yes.
BATH WAVE. And you know what? When you get in water, you feel good.
It's true.
So that was a clue to my first tool, the bath wave, living transformation.
I
You
love
just pretend you're jumping in water with your hands. Just say, I face and embrace that I'm worrying all the time, down to your toes and up to your neck. And then you go down your shoulders and your arms. Oh, and you feel relaxed. The worry just relaxes as though you jumped in the ocean. And then part two, put in what you really desire. So you use one hand and run it around your midline, all the way down to the chair, saying, I can, I will, and I do relax and trust myself. And
it.
wiggle, wiggle, you get your back against the chair. It goes all the way around your body. And it's now in the core of your quantum waves instantly. And that's how this works. I've had people with pain that comes up during the session. It's in their shoulder, maybe. And I say, oh, that's because you're carrying a burden. Would you like to replace that? And we face it and embrace it and replace it with their true desires. Pain gone, just like that.
We think it has to
Sometimes,
be complicated. So what you're saying is really like just don't overthink it. Just just listen.
bingo.
Like just that, like a pain in your shoulder. Oh, I'm carrying something I shouldn't be carrying. Like that is so simple. I love how it comes full back around to that.
It's common sense, Chrissy.
Yeah.
It's like we can change everything into common sense. And if you get stuck, I wrote three books with maps. I've developed a system of 8 maps of information, of bath waves that tell you if you get stuck, look in those books and find out what the pattern is. And I even give you the replacement. How do you like that?
That's amazing. That makes it even simpler and easier.
Yeah, so I can train a coach like you in hours to use these techniques in your practice. And I love to teach people to use it in their life too, in their relationships, in their dreams, everything. We don't miss anything. And
No, I just want to go back to the strength test if I can. It made me think of something I saw Gabor Mate saying about in research, 80% of people with autoimmune disease are women. And out of those, the most common thing was that they lived other people's expectations of themselves. So they weren't being true to themselves. And
bingo,
that was the common. So what you're saying is so the strength test, and just what you said, if you say something untrue, you're weak. It's the same
right.
thing, right? It's the same concept is what you're saying. Yes.
Exactly. And all you have to do, the autoimmune, that's really brilliant. The autoimmune is, again, living other people's and sometimes even your own judgments.
Yeah.
And those are the worst when you start judging yourself. And that's an autoimmune disease. You're not liking yourself, and it'll show up in the organs that relate to what you don't like. And all
Yeah.
you have to do is embrace it. You have to literally love that you don't like yourself. You
Yes.
have to love it and embrace it. Don't fight it, love it. And that melts it. And then part two, replace it. I respect and recognize myself for the greatness that I am. Because
Mm.
we are, each of us, uniquely and differently great. I mean, look at the snowflakes. Everyone has a beautiful pattern. Well, we have kaleidoscopic patterns in our quantum waves that are more beautiful than anyone can imagine.
Hmm.
And that's what I love people to know. That's the patterns. As they change the patterns, your kaleidoscopic pictures are changing right away and making beautiful information that everybody in the universe has access to. And that's the other thing. When we change something, the whole universe knows it and they can change too. All they have to say is yes. So when you get a feeling, just say yes that you like, and you will change because somebody else is changing it somewhere for
Yeah.
you. And
Yes.
that's what Gandhi said when he said, "Do you want to change the world? Change yourself." It really does work. I've seen it happen in my life for 25 years now. And I yeah, is there
Wonderful.
anything else you want to
Yeah.
ask or shall I
Oh
keep
yeah,
going?
definitely. No, I was just thinking, I know a visual that someone said to me once that I think would apply here is sometimes we think of ourselves as energy inside a physical body, but it's actually the opposite. We are energy and we have some organic material from Mother Earth that we reside around more than inside. Is that sort of like how the waves work?
It's all us. They're before energy. Information goes into making energy.
Oh, okay.
So we're actually working way at our core. That's why I really want people to get it. I mean, I was an energy doctor for 50 years and I still use it. But when I hit a pattern that works, wow, that's even faster than energy. And
Yeah.
actually, the I Ching is a book of 64 patterns that has been correlated with our DNA, which is where I started doing my biochemistry when I was 10 years old. I was in my mother's kitchen extracting DNA in her blender from chicken livers.
Oh, interesting.
That's that's how I started in biochemistry. Somebody gave me a chemical that I needed and I did it.
That's
It was
amazing.
easy. Yeah.
Yes.
And so these patterns, which I'm about to publish that I Ching information in my
Mm.
fourth book. It isn't out yet, but anybody who wants it can ask me for it. And I would send it to them when I finish it. I'm almost
Oh,
done.
perfect. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that's all in the show notes. So we talked about ourselves, you talked about the world changing, but what about our relationships? Because that is something that we struggle with a lot, right? As humans relating to people, especially now, there's division, polarization. How does
I
the
was
way
so
help our
glad.
relationships? Yes.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that question because in the entanglement category, our relationships are always interacting with our quantum waves. So
Mhm.
when we see something that we want to change, well, we can't change the person, but we can see the mirror of it in ourselves. And I have a map for that. And you transform it in yourself. And then if they want to change, they will instantly. And they won't even know why it happened. Most people, my girlfriend came to me and her husband wasn't looking at her or touching her or anything. And so I did the mirror story. I asked her what was going on, and there was a little, something that was happening. She was judging him unconsciously, and she embraced what she was judging, and he mirrored her masculine side. So she embraced it in her masculine self love, and she replaced it. And within minutes, he was all over her. He was hugging her and loving her. And that's in my first book, that story, because she'll never let me forget that. She really
Oh,
loved it.
such
So
a
that's what
gift.
we can do with our children, with our parents, whether they're alive or past, their recording is in the universe. So they still benefit when you change, but it benefits the recording, which is called in India the Akashic records. Akash means ether, and that's the memory of our past. So we can change everything about our past. Nobody knows that. We can change it within hours,
That's
not
amazing.
years of, you know, hard work and sweat and tears.
Yeah. And how do we do that? How do we read our purpose in this memory in these Akashic records? How do we?
Okay, what you have to do, can you remember anything in your life that you've done that you're proud of? When you
Yes.
did it, you felt proud of it. You write that down. And then you think of another one. They can be really little things that you did as a child. I had one man who scratched his grandmother's back when the grandmother said, "Will somebody please scratch my back?" He was only 10 years old and he popped up and said, "I will, Grandma." He scratched her back and she looked him in the eyes and said, "That was the best scratching I've ever had." And I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to find his purpose in that? Do you know that was the most beautiful purpose that I found? And when what happens is you get a couple of them. I like people to come up with six if they can. I pick the one that's the best one to give us the words for your purpose. And then I ask you, how did you do that? And I write down every word you tell me. And I get, maybe a page of words. And then I ask the Akashic Records, which of these words are going to help us to describe Chrissy's purpose? And I circle them and I get maybe 25, 30 words. And then I say, which of the words comes first? And I write them down in a line, 20 words, 25 words. And then the fun part comes. You have to make sentences out of those words. And that's how you do it. And I'll tell you, people are amazed. I mean, I was amazed. I changed my life. I became a quantum wave living coach, obviously. I had been an energy doctor before that. I still use it. You don't have to let anything go unless you want to. I mean, not
Mhm.
let it go, replace it with what you're doing. Those words are still in me, but you can replace them. And my whole life, I have to say, I look better now than when I was 50 and got that diagnosis.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Can
So
you?
that's how you work with relationships. Does that make sense?
Yes, all of it makes a lot of sense. It's funny you talk about, you said something there about um doing things that you're like living in your purpose and you don't have to let things go. And I think it's true the other way too, right? You can also let things go that you're good at, but that may not be aligned with your purpose. Just because you're gifted at something doesn't necessarily mean it's your purpose either, right?
Absolutely. Pavarotti sang opera, and do you know, till he died, he was a very unhappy man.
Yes.
It wasn't his purpose.
Yes.
And the quantum language is not words in general, even though I've been talking about words,
That's how we
they
communicate
speak
them.
in pictures. So when you get a picture or an idea about something, I want to tell your audience, honor it. Like your dreams are right from your quantum wave self or being. And that brings up the last thing I'd like to talk about. And
Yes.
that is that your quantum wave self is an actual being with consciousness. This has been proven. It's all over YouTube's that our consciousness is in our quantum waves and our free will.
Hmm.
So I actually think about it as my friend because it talks to me in my dreams, it talks to me in my body, in my relationships, in all my daily events. It's always talking to me. And then there's a third one. There's a new you that keeps forming as you talk to your quantum waves. And that's your awareness. And I call it the glowing awareness because all of these, except the body, are as big as the universe. But our body comes from, I call it the turnaround body because the quantum waves are turning around to go out again. They're spinning.
Hmm.
Why do they spin? Do you know that almost no physicists know why quantum particles are spinning? It's because they're going out again. They disappear and they become invisible quantum waves again. And then they come back. So half of you is invisible and it's huge. It's as big as the universe and it's talking to you all the time. So please listen to it. Trust your what people call intuitions. They're really entanglements. You're getting information all the time. So listen, because that's your friend talking to you, showing you maybe what you're doing. And you can say, do I really want to do this? I think maybe I'll replace it. It's not really what I want to be doing. So, do you ever find that's true? You see things like that? I sure do.
I love too that you talked about it in two steps because I find if you try to jump to step two with just the feeling with the good, because it's not quite true to you yet, it won't work. So you have to do the first step of just noticing it and embracing it.
Loving it more than, yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
embracing it, literally loving it.
You can't go
And
straight to
that's,
canceling it out. Like you have to start with it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And just yesterday, I saw a pattern in me of feeling sorry for myself since I was a child, and I faced it and I embraced it. And now I enjoy myself and respect and do all those good things. And it keeps
Absolutely.
keeps talking to me. So you're triplets, and in my novel, my third
Yes.
book,
Tell us about
I
the
wrote a
quantum ticket.
story so that
Hmm.
young people who don't quite know if they really want to do this or they want to know more. They're based on true stories by like that woman that I told you about whose husband, she's in the book. All the stories. I made a beautiful long love story, and I've got two more to write with the I Ching patterns. And I'm really excited for people to read it. I wish I could make a movie. If there are any movie makers out there, this is about movie making and it's I really want to make a movie. It's because
Yes.
it would show those beautiful quantum waves. I know what I think they look like if you could see them.
See them. Yes.
And we could show them in a movie. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it teaches all the things I've taught you today in this novel.
Aw. And it just feels like
Good
it feels like it could
Christmas
be a
present.
very feel-good read too. Like it would have a lot of hope and happiness and possibility. I don't
And
like the
it's
word
very
potential.
humorous.
I love the word
Yes.
possibility, not potential. It's possibilities. Yeah. That's a
Yes.
good message.
And she's a singer, so if you like music, get the Audible copy because I put the music. It's going to be a musical. Yeah, the woman I helped happens to write beautiful music. So I
Mhm.
took about five of her songs or six, I can't remember,
Mhm.
and put them into the novel. So in the Audible copy, you can listen to her singing.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful. So
Yeah.
beautiful. One of my favorite singers, her name is Aurora, and she writes a lot of mystical stuff. But you made me think of one of her lines, and she said, "Wouldn't it be tragic if I weren't made of a little magic?" And that's
Oh,
what made me think of.
that's beautiful.
It is a beautiful song. I'll send it to
Aurora,
you after. Yeah, I'll send
did
you the link to her after. Yeah.
I wonder, did she write a song? It's beautiful. It's about chakras and being.
I'm not sure. She writes, it's her music is beautiful. It sort of captures a few different genres. I'll put the link in
Yeah,
the show notes if someone wants to
I have
listen.
to find another singer, yeah,
Yes.
for another book, you know. She
Yeah,
did this book,
absolutely.
and we're gonna,
Absolutely.
who knows, maybe you
Yes.
just gave me the next singer.
Yes, yes. So where can
Thank
people
you.
find you?
Well, I have a website, angelalongo.com, and I recommend you go to my videos of my YouTubes because I'll explain this again because
Mhm.
everybody needs to hear it at least twice, if not three times.
Takes five
And
times to remember something.
so
Yeah.
there's good videos on there, and I describe a course. You know, I really want to teach people. People can send me notes on my um, website. There's a place there you can put your name and email and ask me a question. And I am offering to the first person who gets to me a free 2 hour session
Oh,
online on Zoom. They have to contact me and I will give them a free session.
that's
So,
amazing. Thank you. That's
yeah.
very generous. Thank you so
And I'm
much.
hoping, yeah, we get some more. I want thousands of coaches to know how to read purposes. And it's not that hard. I described it to you. It just takes a little practice, and you
Mhm.
have to understand the triplets a little bit, you
Yeah.
know. But my goodness, you really pulled most of the best stuff out of me. I'm so glad.
I'm so curious because yes, I was just soaking it all in. It's so fascinating to me. And it's not something I'm an expert in, but so much of it rings true. So, like through experience, and as I think about different, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, I really, really enjoyed this. So, would you like to leave the audience with any last words or inspiration?
I love writing haiku poems. So
Hmm.
there was a poem that I wrote for my first book. It's 17 syllables, and I really think it tells you what the essence is. So can I say it?
Yes, please.
When I dare to bare my heart naked, I turn my scared into sacred.
Hmm.
And I really salute the sacredness of every person listening in the audience. And you're delightful, dear
Thank
Chrissy, because I can look into your eyes and you can see the light. I mean, that's what the word delight. My new word is lightheartedness. Go and be lighthearted. Feel the joy. And if you don't, do a bath wave
Yes.
or get a shower and do it. You can
Yes.
jump in your shower, say what you're griping and feeling isn't working, and then say what you want it to be and watch the magic happen.
Thank you so much, Angela. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Chrissy. Blessings.